Hi, my name is Marnie, and today I'm going to be talking about the European Union through the decades. So, we're first going to start with the time gap of 1945 through 1959. And at this time, Europe was pretty peaceful, and the European Union was just set in place. And the European Union was created to stop the bloody and frequent wars between neighbors. And the European coal and steel companies at the time actually began to unite Europe economically and politically. And when the European Union was founded, there were only six countries who were members. And the six countries were Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. And also during this time period, the 1950s were dominated by the Cold War between the East and West Europe. And in addition, in 1959, the Treaty of Rome creates the European Economic Community, or aka the Common Market. The next time period we have is 1960 to 1969, and this is a period of economic growth. The 1960s was a good time for the economy, and this had to do with the fact that European countries were no longer charging custom duties when they traded with one another. The countries in the European Union also agreed to have joint control over food production, and this actually made sure that all the members of the European Union had enough to eat, and soon enough there will even be a surplus of agricultural produce. Our next decade we have is 1970 to 1979, and this is the time when the European Union really grows as a community. Denmark, United Kingdom, and Ireland all joined the European Union on January 1st, 1973. There are now 9 members of the European Union. Also during this decade, there is a war called the Arab-Israeli War, and this was in October 1973. Although it was a short war, it did lead to a lot of damage in Europe. It led to an energy crisis and many economic problems. And to hope to fix the dilemma in Europe, the European Union regional policy starts to transfer huge sums of money to create jobs and infrastructure to poorer areas. And in addition, in this decade, there was also in 1979 a ruling was passed by the European Parliament that for the first time citizens could directly elect their members. And something that the European Union we will learn to see has always stood for is protecting the environment. And during this time period, they adopt laws to protect the environment, including one called the Polluter Pay. Next, we have 1980 through 1989, and this is when Europe really becomes Europe without frontiers. And in 1981, Greece becomes the 10th member of the European Union, and in the following 5 years, Spain and Portugal will also join the European Union. And in 1986, the Single European Act is signed, and this treaty basically provides an outline for a 6-year program that fixes the error of trade across European borders. And the treaty inevitably creates the single market. And our next decade is 1990 through 1999, and with the collapse of communism across Central and Eastern Europe, Europeans actually become better neighbors and more unified. And in 1993, the single market is complete, and it includes what we like to call the 4 freedoms. And the 4 freedoms are movement of goods, money, service, and people. And this really means that you can freely go anywhere, your money can freely go anywhere, your services can freely go anywhere. And it was just a really great thing for the European Union to have. And in 1995, Austria, Finland, and Sweden all joined the European Union. Now in 2000 to 2009, we see further expansion of the European Union. The euro is now the currency for many Europeans. And during the decades, more and more countries adopt the euro. And although we have seen a lot of division between the East and West Europe during this decade, it is actually declared by the political division that the East and the West Europe are healed, as the majority of Europe is already a part of the European Union, And in 2008, we see a financial crisis in Europe, and this leads to what we like to call the Treaty of Leipzig, and this provides the European Union with modern institutions and more efficient working methods. Finally, the last decade is 2010 to 2019, and the European Union establishes banking unions to ensure safer and more reliable banks. And in 2012, the European Union is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. And something that the European Union is still dealing with today and has been for a while is there's many unrest and wars in various countries, and this is leading to people fleeing their homes and hoping to find refuge in Europe. And as people are flooding Europe, the European Union is really having to deal with how to maintain the European Union, how to maintain Europe, but also respect humans and their rights. And this is something they're still dealing with today. Okay, thank you guys so much, and that is the European Union throughout the decades. Thank you.